Hi everyone, it's Hayley. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for this. No makeup, I've not really done my hair today or anything. I'm having a PJ day. I know that the last video I did was to tell you about my gallbladder surgery. And I said that I would do an update once I'd had my pre-admissions assessment and spoken to the consultant again, and then I would be doing videos post-op to tell you about how it all went and everything like that. But there's been a few changes that have taken place and I've not actually had the surgery. I was due to have the surgery on the 21st of October, which was a Wednesday. I went in for my pre-admissions assessment on Friday the 16th of October. Had some blood tests, general health questions, urine sample, weight and height and all of that kind of stuff was checked. On Tuesday, I decided to work from home because I was going to be going in for the op on Wednesday and I had some things to do that would be better to do at home, work-wise. So I was working from home and I had a call from the nurse at the hospital to say that my white blood cell count was a bit high. So they wanted me to go back in and have a repeat bloods done because they knew that I had a little bit of a scratchy throat and a cold and everything. So they just wanted me to have repeat bloods done so that we could get a decent blood result without the high white blood cell count. So I said that I was working until 2 and then I'd be able to come in, so we left it at that. Then I got another phone call from someone, either from the pharmacy at the hospital or from the lab, I can't remember. But she said that they'd analysed my urine sample and I had a urine infection, which I didn't know anything about. I had no symptoms of anything, so that was a surprise. So she said I needed to come in and get some antibiotics. So I said, will that affect surgery? And she said, no, just as long as you're on the antibiotics, not a problem. So I phoned the nurse back and said, would this be the reason for the increased white blood cell count? And it was a different nurse, and she said it could very well be, but still come in for your blood test and we can go from there. So that was that. So knowing I had surgery the next day, I went upstairs and had a quick bath. Before I was going to head up to the hospital, whilst I was in the bath, my phone went and it was unknown number, which the phone calls from the hospital seemed to have been from an unknown number. So I answered it thinking it was something to do with this blood test. And a consultant who I didn't know was on the other end of the phone and said that he'd been passed my blood test results and the bloods were looking abnormal and he needed to see me that day. So I could sense the urgency in what he was saying, and so I asked him. I think I must have known it wasn't going to be fantastic news, so I started to get out of the bath and I asked him, it's funny I was on the phone to the consultant in the bath, but there we are. So I asked him what it was they were looking for, and he said, unfortunately I'm looking for leukemia. So as you can imagine, I was just in a state of shock, really upset, and burst into tears on the phone to him, but I asked him a few questions which he probably didn't want to answer, but as he was giving me this news over the phone, I suppose he felt like he had to. So I asked him if there was anything I missed because I've had no symptoms, and I'm really kind of like a hypochondriac and kind of just really careful and vigilant, and you know, I know some of the symptoms of leukemia are bruising and things like that, and I would have noticed anything like that, and I haven't noticed anything. And he said no, he said you've not missed anything. The type of leukemia that I think you might have he said most people are diagnosed it after a routine blood test for something else. So I asked him a few more questions, and then he said, I'll see you at 5:30. So straight away I phoned my husband at work, bawled my eyes out on the phone to him. As soon as someone mentions anything to do with cancer, leukemia, anything like that, obviously you fear the worst and everything. So I was a complete mess to him on the phone. He left work straight away. Then I phoned my mum, and she then phoned my dad, so they both arrived. Then I phoned my sister, and my mum phoned her husband, my brother-in-law. So they were all here, and all speculating about everything. My husband then went to pick up our children from nursery, and then my family all stayed here to look after them whilst we went to the appointment. Whilst I was there, I had 7 vials of blood taken for various different tests that he was doing. He did a physical examination to feel for an enlarged spleen, felt my glands, looked in like the whites of my eyes, looked at my skin. And he said nothing in the physical examination was causing alarm, but obviously these bloods weren't normal. So he said that he would look over the bloods on the Wednesday, and then he would let me know what he thinks. He'll be able to give me a near certain diagnosis, but he had to wait for one set of bloods, which would take up to 10 days to come back. So the next day at 6:30 in the evening, so I had a whole day of waiting, he rang and he said, unfortunately, it does look like you have leukemia. I'm 80% certain it's a type called chronic myeloid leukemia, or CML for short. He said, but I do have to wait for this test to come back to confirm that. So today is Thursday the 5th of November, I think. Yeah, Thursday the 5th of November. On Monday the 2nd, I went in to see the consultant and was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia. It has been the most horrendous 2 weeks. This time 3 weeks ago, apart from having the occasional gallbladder pain, I felt healthy. Life was good, so it's been horrendous, and it's just the start of a long journey ahead. For those of you that don't know anything about this particular condition, it's a very rare form of leukemia, very rare. It does affect older people more, like it can affect anyone. It doesn't usually affect children, it's usually people over the age of 15, but it's more common 60 and over, and it's more common in men. So obviously I'm in neither of those categories, so it's really rare. Nothing I have done has caused it. They don't know what causes it. It's caused by a genetic mutation, but they don't know what causes the genetic mutation. My parents didn't pass it on to me, and thankfully I won't pass it on to my children. Basically, part of my chromosome number 9 fused onto part of chromosome number 22 and formed what they call a Philadelphia chromosome. And the Philadelphia chromosome then causes increase in production of white blood cells, and the white blood cells are abnormal, and that's obviously what causes the leukemia. But they don't know what causes your chromosomes to mutate like that in the first place. They don't know. Usually this type of leukemia is treated with medication. There's 4 or 5 different tablets that they can prescribe to you, which are specifically targeted at these chromosomes to stop them from mutating and then going on to develop these abnormal white blood cells. So Tuesday morning I started to take them. So they are called imatinib or Gleevec. is the brand name, but the actual tablets are imatinib. They're one a day. The first day, on the Tuesday, about 4 or 5 hours after I took them, I started to feel really dizzy and headachy and just really groggy and horrible. Yesterday was a good day. Today I've had really slight nausea, but apart from that I've been okay. I've also been prescribed something called I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but allopurinol, which is some of the side effects of the imatinib. You are more susceptible to things like gout and water retention and things like that. So the allopurinol, I've only been given 7 days worth of that, but that's to help your body learn to adjust to the medication, I think. So 2 tablets a day for the first 7 days, 1 of each type, and then imatinib on its own going forward. And hopefully these tablets will do the trick. I will be on them for life unless there are medical studies starting at the moment of people who've been on them for a significant amount of time and who've had a great response to them, coming off and seeing what happens, whether you're truly cured coming off the treatment and then you're okay. But at the moment they think that if you come off the treatment your bloods will start to be abnormal again. So it is, if it works, it's a treatment I'll be on for life. But the tablets have only been out for 15 years, so they don't have true statistics on life expectancy because the tablets have only been out for 15 years, so they don't have many, people who were 30 when they started on these drugs, maybe at 45 now and doing great, but they obviously haven't reached full life, so they don't know. But they believe that you can have normal or near normal life expectancy with this condition on these drugs if these drugs work. So it's horrible, and I still don't think I've got my head around it completely. But given all the horrible things that can be thrown at you, there is hope. And I've got everything to live for and be thankful for and to hope for. So, yeah, I've had a lot of tears over the past couple of weeks, and Tuesday was a bad day because I felt so rough with the medication, and it was the first time I actually felt like I weren't feeling like a really sick person, but because I felt rubbish, I actually felt for the first time I actually am ill. Because up until that point, the illness itself hasn't presented itself, so I hadn't felt any different to my normal self. And so it was just as soon as I started taking the medication, I felt rubbish. But I'm hoping that as time goes on, the side effects will settle down and it will just become part of normal life. Next Wednesday, I have to go in for a bone marrow biopsy. When you start taking the medication, they do 3 stages. The first one they look for after 3 months, which is that your white blood cell count comes down. After 12 months, I believe, they look for, I believe it's that they look for the leukemia to be rid from your bone marrow, which is why I have to have biopsies. And then after 18 months, they look for the Philadelphia chromosome to be gone. So there's milestones you have to reach with the medication. So I have to have a biopsy now, another biopsy in 3 months, and then I don't know when the next one will be. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I will keep you posted on how everything is going. And I won't make all my videos about this because I want my videos to, my channel started off as a fertility channel. And then I've done some hauls of birthday present buying and all of that kind of stuff, and then I did a couple of pregnancy videos for my daughter when I was pregnant with my daughter, and then the gallbladder videos, which I will be having the surgery at some point going forward. I need to have that done still, so I will still do the videos on that, and then this as well. So it's just going to be, this channel is going to be a bit of a mishmash of everything, really. I do have two separate channels. One's a bit more of a beauty channel, which has got unboxing of like Glossy Box and Birchbox and things, which I don't get anymore at the moment, but I am looking to resubscribe. But I'm thinking of merging it all back onto one channel and just doing this as a "this is me" channel, and every aspect of my life that I want to share on YouTube, I'll just put it all on one channel rather than having it separate. So my videos, though, I will include videos on updates on how I'm doing with regards to this diagnosis, but it won't just be about that. I'll still be doing all the other things that I was planning to do on this channel, including eventually, once this is all settled and everything, back onto Slimming World, I'll be doing those updates, and I've just taken on an allotment plot, so I will be doing some update videos on that as well. So yeah, this is a really long video, probably one of my longest, so I'm really sorry for rambling, but thank you all for listening, thank you all for sticking with me, and I look forward to hopefully doing some more positive video updates for you all and checking in again with you soon. Take care everyone, speak to you later, bye.